Hello guys and welcome to a really short reaction for well I don't even know what I'm reacting to. It's Game of Thrones related. R+L = J. Right, okay. I don't know what I'm watching here. I've had a ton of requests to watch it around about the time of Series 6 Episode 10 and Series 7 Episode 1. My mates have requested it. You guys have requested it in the comments. I don't know what to expect. I think it's an explanation about Jon Snow. I'm 90% certain, hence the J. But I don't know what I'm watching. So I'm just going to go into this with an open mind and be as confused as I was when I first started it. Here we go.
R+L = J is a fan theory regarding George R.R. Martin's Song of Ice and Fire, the basis of HBO's Game of Thrones. It's one of the best supported and most widely believed fan theories. The idea is that Jon Snow is not the bastard son of Eddard Stark and an unknown woman, as Jon and most of Westeros believes, but is actually the son of Ned's sister, Lyanna Stark, and Rhaegar Targaryen. So, for a bit of context, Rhaegar Targaryen...
There is a lot of names. So I've got a feeling I'm going to be pausing this a hell of a lot. Right, okay, I need to pause it at that. So, the theory is Jon is Stark mixed with Targaryen. So that means he's related to Daenerys. Okay, carry on.
So after the war was over, Ned and 6 others headed to the tower to find Lyanna, where they were confronted by 3 of the dead king's guard. When the fight was over, the 2 survivors, Ned and his friend Halland Reed, went up the tower to find Lyanna Stark in a bed of blood. There, Lyanna got Ned to make her a promise before she died.
Right, okay.
So R+L = J suggests that Lyanna's bed of blood is one of childbirth. The baby is Rhaegar and Lyanna's, and that Ned's promise to Lyanna is to pretend that the child is his in order to protect the child from Robert, who would see the son of the Targaryen.
Pausing it again. So yeah, I did twig on, and I did realise that in the actual episode, but it was one of them scenes where it just felt a bit. It was a massive shock, don't get me wrong, but it was literally in the middle of nowhere. But then again, no it wasn't, because like, Bran, with his visions, anything can happen. So, just things like this makes me think anything can literally happen at any moment in time. I'm rambling now, I'm sorry, carry on.
In Ned's own words, to a father Jon was to dishonour himself and to dishonour Catelyn in the sight of gods and men. Ned isn't like Robert, who would swear undying love and forget them before evenfall. Ned keeps his vows. So right away, it seems unlikely that Ned would break his wedding vows to Catelyn by fathering Jon. At one point, Ned refers to Jon as his blood, but he never calls him his son. At one point, he internally lists his children, naming Robb and Sansa and Arya and Bran and Rickon. The very next line he mentions Jon, but not as part of the list of his children. Speaking of Arya, Jon is said to look like her, and Arya is said to look like Lyanna. Anyway, so during the conversation with Robert about the rebellion, Ned thinks that he has lived his lies for 14 years. What lies are Ned referring to? Here's a hint. Jon is, at the start of the first book, 14 years old. So what all these hints amount to is that Jon is Ned's lie, a lie that haunts him at night. One more thing about Ned. On multiple occasions, Ned opposes the killing of Targaryen children. When Robert orders the assassination of Daenerys and her unborn child, Ned refuses, hurting his friendship with Robert and endangering his honour.
I remember that scene.
The king. The other example.
I remember that scene because that was one of the first scenes that made me actually fall in love with Ned. Oh my god, I've not seen that scene for so long. I apologise as well because like I've just realised I'm about halfway through and I'm not doing much talking. I don't know whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I am following. And it's really interesting to see this. Yeah.
Rhaegar's wife and children at the sack of King's Landing. This refusal to kill children for the sake of their Targaryen blood is mirrored by Ned's protection of Jon. To return briefly to the Tower of Joy, it seems very odd for 3 members of the King's Guard to be there with Lyanna Stark. Shouldn't they be protecting the siblings of the now dead prince? A very good explanation for their presence is that they were guarding the unborn heir apparent, the son of the prince, Jon. So now to Essos for a biggie in terms of textual evidence. What this strongly suggests is that something to do with Lyanna is at a wall of ice. That something is very probably Jon on the wall. So, given all these hints, it seems very likely that Jon Snow is the son of Rhaegar Targaryen and Lyanna Stark. But what are the implications of R+L = J? It's been suggested that being both a Stark and a Targaryen makes Jon the Song of Ice and Fire personified. What this actually means
That's the
exactly
book,
is
right?
unclear, but it does seem to suggest that Jon is very important. Perhaps he's the prince that was promised, or Azor Ahai, or one of the three heads of the dragon, or any of the other various prophesized figures. In any case, Stark blood is associated with powers like warging, and Targaryen blood is associated with an affinity with dragons and fire. Jon having both would possibly make him capable of some pretty impressive stuff. A more concrete implication is that if Jon is the son of Prince Rhaegar, he has a claim on the Iron Throne, more so than Dany actually. That's assuming, though, that Rhaegar and Lyanna were secretly wedded, which could have happened despite Rhaegar's existing marriage to Alia. Polygamy is a bit of a thing with Targaryens, but if they weren't married, Jon would still be considered a bastard and an illegitimate contender for the throne, though he could possibly be legitimized. Jon's vows with the Night's Watch are another complication. He's sworn an oath...
Just pausing it, I need to, allow some of that to process. So Jon Snow's got more of a right to the throne. I don't know how I feel about this. I'm assuming there's a hell of a lot of you guys out there that absolutely adore Jon Snow, and that's absolutely fine. I understand that 100% completely. But for me, Daenerys just seems to be the one that has always fought for the throne, and she's always won, she's always succeeded. I am really not sure about Jon Snow being the ruler, although the stories and tales out there of rulers that never wanted to do it in the first place. But actually, having said that, he's starting to want it now. I'm rambling again. Carry on.
Want the throne. Powers and thrones aside, finding out his true parentage would be very significant for Jon personally. He's always struggled with rejection from Cat, alienation from being a bastard, and the difficulty of not knowing his mother. Finding out his true parentage would undoubtedly be a big deal for him, if not for all of Westeros. So that's R+L J, the main evidence and some of the possible implications.
Right. I kind of feel like I need to watch that again. So as soon as I've finished filming this, I'm going to watch that just to allow everything to sink in. Interesting theory / fact. I'm assuming that in the TV show, like Series 7, I'm assuming that that is the case. I'm assuming that he is... I forget her name already. Oh my god, I've just watched it already. It's so confusing. So, he's Ned's sister's son. Yeah? Or is this just a theory? I want you to clarify that. Obviously no spoilers if it's somebody else. Could have been bloody Catelyn's son or something daft, you know what Game of Thrones is like. Yeah, okay, so yeah, that was quite interesting. I've never watched anything Game of Thronesy related to do with stuff like that. So yeah, thank you for watching. I just want to kind of, because I've never explained this on my channel, once Series 7 of Game of Thrones comes out, all the reactions, and I've done all 7 episodes, I'm not stopping Game of Thrones at all. I'm currently working on plans of slight videos to do and stuff like that, but what I'm going to be doing is my own character breakdowns of the things that I liked seeing with particular characters, the actors that played them. I'm also wanting to do little reactions like this. Now, I've never watched any outtakes, never watched deleted scenes. I've never been a fan of deleted scenes. Outtakes I like, so I'm thinking about maybe doing stuff like that. If you guys have got any suggestions on anything Game of Thrones related, pop it in the comments. Yeah, you see, I've obviously seen this one now. I've seen the musical, Game of Thrones the musical. Check that out on the channel if you've not already seen that. I did that at Christmas last year. But yeah, that was quite interesting. I'm really glad to have watched that. Game of Thrones Series 7 Episode 1 comes out on Saturday. This Saturday coming. Then I'm going to be doing, I'm hoping, because it's my week off coming up next week, I'm hoping to do 2 reactions next week. Fingers crossed, that's what I'm aiming for. So we'll just have to wait and see. So yeah, I just want to say thank you for tuning in, and I'm really sorry if I bored you there because I was literally just staring at the screen for about 5 minutes. Yes, so I will see you on Saturday, and I love you all. Bye!